Welcome, everybody. Morgan, is that you? I think we just scared Scott Burkhart's daughter, so she'll need that. Morgan, if you can unmute Scotty there, that'd be great on your phone. There we go. Scotty Burkhart, can you hear us?
Oh, you gonna turn it up?
We can hear you, Scotty.
So we can barely hear.
I can barely hear you.
Yeah, turn up your
barely
volume.
hear you too.
Can you turn up the volume, Morgan?
These guys can drive pulling tractors, Stanley, but when it gets them on a live show.
I can barely hear you, Jason. You guys hear me?
You sound good. Turn up your volume, Elsie.
Not for sure what's going on. I can barely hear you, and the volume's all the way up.
Scott, you sound great. You sound good. John, can you hear
Except
me?
I'm half deaf, so I can't hear.
Okay.
I can hear everybody just fine.
Yeah, everybody sounds good on my end. Greg, we can hear you fine.
I can't hardly hear you.
Okay, well, we're off to a good start tonight then. So.
Is it on mute?
John?
Yes. Usually everybody can hear me.
I know, what's the big deal? I think we can do fine, so. Everybody can hear us fine on the show, so that's good. So, John, let's get started. We'll let Greg and Scott get caught up with us, I hope. So, welcome everybody. Every Monday night we do Down and Dirty with the Badger State Tractor Pullers. My name is Jason Schultz, joined by John Stanley. John, wave your hand a little bit. Greg Elsing, can you wave your hand a little bit? Greg's looking for a spot.
I'm here, but I can't hear.
He's here. We can hear him
You
fine.
can't hear it either, can you?
Not really.
If I go back out and come back in, I thought I had some earbuds here, but I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, we can hear everybody else fine. So
Maybe just getting our iPad.
we'll just have to figure it out. We got good video here. Well, the plan tonight is to interview Scott Burkhart, our 640 Pro Farm Points champion, right, Stanley? So
That's right.
We're working on getting an iPad up there, Jason, because, I can see you guys. I'm sure you can hear me, but for some reason, we can't hear you now.
here, we'll do like
Punks did that last weekend, Jason. They kind of said the same thing for whatever reason, but
I can't do that.
I run my phone mirrored through the TV, so I'm using the sound on the TV.
I don't get it.
I'll put Scott, can you read that? I thought maybe I could do like sign language with him, Stanley. Oh, Stanley. Elsie.
Yes, sir.
I got you. Now I can hear you.
Okay, good. Now we just got to get Burkhart to hear us because he's the one we actually want to talk to.
All right. Well, I went back and I went to the original thing you sent me. Maybe that's the same because I went to the same one I resent Scott.
Okay.
Should I send it to him again, or can you send him a link again?
I can.
That's what I did, and it worked.
Yeah, that's what they're maybe trying right now. So, hey, welcome everybody. It's Monday night. It's 7 o'clock Central Standard Time every Monday night. John, Greg, and I. Greg is the president of the Badger State Tractor Pullers. Greg, can you wave?
Hey.
John Stanley, one of our announcers with the Badger State Tractor Pullers. We get together. We named our live show Down and Dirty with the Badger State Tractor Pullers. And we're just interviewing points champions right now, getting some guests on here. John and Greg, you guys had the Funks on, and you had Jason Vinny on last week, or Dan Vinny? Which one of the Vinnies?
Jason.
Jason Vinny.
Yep.
Can you?
Hey.
Super far. Scott, can you hear us?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yeah, praise the
We're all
Lord.
on the same page.
Praise baby Jesus.
Yeah.
Praise baby Jesus. Here, we got to make Burkhart big. Well, Scott, welcome to Down and Dirty with the Badger State Tractor Pullers, our weekly live video show. How are you, buddy?
Good. How are you?
Good. How much is that gold chain around your neck? We got some comments already.
Should I get rid of that?
No, it's
Should I get
pretty
rid of
good.
that? Here. Is that better?
No. I like it, Scotty. I like it. I like it a lot. So, hey, thanks for doing this tonight. I'm just going to sit back and listen. Well, I'm going to try not to talk because I talk too much. But John, I want John and Greg to take over. And let's talk about Scotty Burkhart. Tell us who you are, where you're from. You guys know what to do. John, roll with it.
Well,
Go ahead,
Scott, tell us. Go ahead. Scott, tell us how long you've been pulling in Pro Farm and how many times you've won champions. How many times you've been a champion?
I think I started in, I'm not for sure exactly what year we started, but I know it was close to 2000. And I think I was points champion. in 03, 05, 07, 09, 10. And then I'm not for sure. I know there was one in between there and then this year.
Yeah, that's a lot of them.
Yep.
Who all? Nick helps you with your tractor a lot too, doesn't he?
Yeah, Nick and then Matt Angel.
Yep. They help you out a bunch.
Yep.
Right. So, what was coming into the end of the year here? It was kind of tight. You had a lot of points to make up to get it done, right?
Yeah, I didn't really think I had a chance there at Monroe, but sometimes you get lucky. I don't know if you call it luck or whatever, but I guess it happened, so I'll take it. Let's put it that way.
Right. Dan was in the lead by what, 8-10 points, wasn't he?
He was in the lead by 4 points.
Oh, 4. I thought it was more than that. Yeah. And he made a bad, not as good a pass as he wanted to, I'm sure, and you made a pretty nice one.
Yeah, Nick made a really nice pass. I guess my goal that day was to try to win at Monroe, and Nick beat me by 4 foot, and we both had good runs, and Dan didn't have quite as good a run as we did, and I guess that's the way it goes.
Yeah. That's the way pulling is. You got anything for him, John?
So congrats, and it was a fun class to watch as always. And you guys come right down to the last pull of the year in that class, just like a lot of the others. But what keeps you coming back to Badger State year after year, Scooter?
It's just a great bunch of guys. It's good competition. Greg does a great job. Kelly and the girls, they all do a great job. I appreciate them supporting our class. I don't really know what's going to happen after this year. It's kind of, sometimes it's hard to get good numbers in our class. I really like our class. It's different. That's why I've never changed, but it's getting to the point now where we're actually getting low on numbers and not for sure what's going to happen.
You're talking about. Go ahead.
You're dabbling with the 24.5s and probably a little different pump, but a couple pulls. Were you liking that?
Yeah, that was fun. I want to thank Don Vinny and his boys. They helped us out to go dab and super farm a little bit, and that was a lot of fun. And me and Matt Angel went up, and we had 2 or 3 Badger State hooks, and then we went up to Harrisville and pulled one night, and I actually got second and he got first. It might have not been all the competition there, but that was fun. And like I said, I really appreciate the Vinnies giving us a chance to do it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Greg.
Nope. I was just thinking out loud here. Harrisville is a good time. I've been there and pulled. It's been a few years, but that's usually it. Did you have fun up there?
Oh boy, that's quite a deal up there. I mean, they run 2 tracks, some antiques. They have a lot of things going on. It's quite an event up there.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's been a long time since I've been up there, but it was always fun back in the day. So, what you're talking about going super farm next year too, and I think Nick was talking about doing something different too, right?
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna go super farm or if maybe we'll go limited pro. We got some different thoughts in mind what we might do, so not for sure yet.
Yeah. Well, both good classes to get into.
Yep. You do a good job, Greg, and all the girls do a good job, and I appreciate all the work you do for us.
Thanks. Well, it's fun. You have a good bunch of people to work with. There's a whole crew of people at your tractor there, huh?
Yeah, like I said, I've been pulling this since the early 2000s, and been to Gordyville a lot of times. And actually, I think Jim Loburn told me that actually my tractor might have the most wins at Gordyville out of anybody. Not trying to brag, just always seem to do good down there pulling in our class.
Well, that's not bragging. That's the truth. That's good. It's good to have a lot of wins somewhere. So,
Hey, Scott, one thing I want to know, how did you get started in pulling? Like, is it something you did with your dad, or how did you get hooked at this sport?
Actually, my dad used to pull in the early 2000s. It wasn't in any organization. It was more just you know, I guess, fairs at that time.
Yep.
And he actually had a 1150 Massey that Kinzenbauer put a turbo on and was 250 horse, and he ran it in the field that way. And he used to go to the polls and do really well, and nobody really liked him, but that's the way he ran it in the field back in them days. And
Nobody really liked him.
yeah, well, they liked him, but they didn't like, what was going on. But
No,
I kind of got started there, and then like I said, me and my nephew, he's basically been like my son, and we got pulling there together, and one thing led to another, and he pulled with me for a while, and then he bought his own, and that's kind of where it started and where we're at.
So what was the transition from your dad's Massey? Like, how did you get started? Was there a gap in years, Scott, or did you drive the Massey some, and then you're like, I want to go bigger? What was that transition? And like, did you buy an existing tractor? Did you build your own? Kind of walk us through that history of it.
Well, I seen my dad pull back in the early 70s, and then actually in the early 80s to mid 80s, I pulled my dad's 1456, and then I pulled a 4430 in the farm classes against actually Mark Kohlberg in them days. And I think that's kind of when Badger State was getting started or just got started. And then I was playing college basketball, and then I got married and had kids, and so got out of it for a few years and then got back into it.
Where'd you play college basketball at?
Highland College, junior college at Freeport.
Nice.
And actually, I could have went on Division I, but I stayed home to farm, so I don't know. So I regret that, but it's what it is.
Well, I've always wanted to ask you if you were played, because you're a tall drink of water, Burkhart. So I assumed you played some sports. So
yeah,
I like that. If you're just joining us, we got Scott Burkhart on with us. He's your 2022 Badger State points champion in the 640 Pro Farm class. That's his tractor right there on the screen from Freeport, Illinois, for sure. I don't know what year that was. I'm just kind of scrambling through the internet, just grabbing random pictures and videos. If any of you have any memories of watching Scott pull, or maybe his dad, or you have any thoughts for Scott or questions for Scott, please type them into the comments. I'll put them there up on the screen, and we'll get going back into that. So the 640 Pro Farm, Scott, was that a Badger State class, or was that an ITPA class? And you guys kind of merged, or?
Well, it kind of started out, me and Bill Smith and John Myers kind of started the class, and we all went to some brush pulls, and then we got this started, and we had a pretty good run at it. So.
No, I like it. I like it a lot. Let's see here. Got to do this. I'm looking for some pictures. Keep talking, guys. Sorry, John.
Scott, who are some people that help you out in the background all the time? Engine work or fuel system, tires, and such like that.
Well, I'd like to thank Kevin Engelkins. He helps at the dyno. Hartz Diesel, Lemke, Mark Korth, Hawthorne Tires. I guess that's the main guys.
Who does all the painting on your tractor? The graphics?
Back in the day, I had the tractor painted in Forston. I can't even remember the guy's name that actually painted the tractor. And then the Get Her Done was done by a guy. They were in Milton. They did my nephew's tractor too, and I can't tell you the name of them, but I think back in the day they did a lot of them. I think they did them for like Crazy Acres, and I can't think of exactly their name, but I'm not even for sure if they're still doing it.
I think it's the same guy that tractors too.
Probably Chris Barber, kind of where he started in Edgerton, and he had a shop there in Milton for a while.
Yeah, that's probably who it was.
Yeah.
Hey, Scott, a couple questions we like to ask all the pullers. How did you name your tractor Get Her Done? What's the story behind that?
Oh, it might have been one night me and the boys were sitting down and having a couple cocktails, and I don't know. We had some different names, and I kind of like that one, so that's what we went with.
Oh, and that's a very common answer too, Scott. So you don't have to laugh.
Right.
There's a lot of fun with that. Another question we've been asking a lot of people lately is, who do you fear the most at the track? Like, who do you respect the most in your class that I'm going to have a hell of a pass to beat this guy tonight? Like over the years, it doesn't have to be anybody currently. I want some good stories of like something from like 10, 15 years ago. Give me some juice. Give me some meat. Give me some sizzle, Scotty.
Well, back when Bill Smith pulled, Bill was always a good competitor. The Vinnies were always good competitors. My nephew, Dan Cassison, I mean, they're all great guys and they're great competitors. And, you know, you're going to have to drive it straight and drive it right and maybe get lucky on picking where you're going on the track. And everybody's pretty competitive and having the good stuff in the motor, and it comes down to driving a lot of times.
That's a true statement. That is a true statement. What are some of your favorite places to pull, Scott? And they don't have to be Badger State hooks. This is more about you. I mean, over the years, what are some of your, and if they're your favorite places, why are they your favorite places to pull?
Well, I like my hometown pull. I think everybody kind of likes their hometown pull. Darlington is always a lot of fun. I always really enjoyed going to Gordyville. It seemed like I always weighted my tractor, drove it pretty good down there. It was always a good time. Like I said, me and Matt went up to that. Oh, there's a Gordyville memory right there. I remember like when we went to Harrisburg or up there, honestly, probably all summer long, that was probably one of mine and Matt's biggest memories, because I actually went 33 mile an hour down the track. I've never went 33. I've gone 32.5, 32.6, but I was the fastest run of the day that day. So that made me pretty happy.
Yeah, though that does. Scott, what's it mean to be a Badger State tractor puller to you? To be a member?
Well, like I said, everybody puts in a lot of time and they do a great job. And I think we have some of the best tractors in the United States, no matter what class you're in. So you say you're with the Badger State organization and you're doing well, or even if you're with them, that speaks for itself.
What's the funniest thing Greg Elsing's ever said to you?
I might not be able to say that over here right now.
Okay. What's the funniest thing he's ever said to you that you could tell us publicly live on Facebook and YouTube?
I'm trying to think up at Freeport. I'm trying to think of where he won, and I think I told him that wasn't the best run you ever had, but it worked. And I honestly can't remember what he said back to me, but I remember everybody laughed around.
Greg is pretty witty. You have to, when you go toe to toe with the Elsing, you better have thought ahead a couple times. I found that out a few times over the years, so it's all good in the hood. Again, if you're just joining us, it's Monday night, October 10th. We do this every Monday night, down and dirty with Badger State Tractor Pullers at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Talking with Scott Burkhart. You're from Winnebago, Illinois. You're 2022 and multiple 640 Pro Farm points champions. Thinking about going Super Farm next year, possibly 4-1. I think you should stay in the Super Farm class. We don't need any more 4-1, Scotty. But that's just my personal opinion. And it's all good. But what we see on the screen right now is a picture of Gordyville, the Midwest Winter Nationals. And Scott has done very, very well down there. If any of you have a question for Scott or a comment, please type it into the comments and I will. Oh, here we go. Robert Danner says, team checking out had a lot of great battles at Gordyville with Scott over the years. Yes, they have. Checking out was one of those ones that you had to get after it, Scott. So
yeah, I always respected him. He's got a great looking tractor, and he was another one. When you pulled against him, you better be on your A game.
Yep. Okay, I want a John Stranley, top 3 memories of John Stranley over the years, Scott Burkhart.
Well, he's a great announcer. He always makes people laugh. You know, That's what it takes to be an announcer. I don't really know John real well. I respect him in all means, and I think he does a great job at what he does.
Well said. Stranley, you owe him $20. So
Big time. I owe him 30.
Right.
30. I think so, at least.
He's a county worker. He's got it.
So am I about right here with the way I'm holding my phone?
Yeah, you look good. I want the gold chain back out, Scott. That's kind of gangster.
Gold chain?
Yes, thank you.
How's that?
Perfect. I appreciate that very, very much. That's the Scotty Burkhart I know. So
Scott, I remember in Gordyville handing bottles of Captain in the bathroom window because we couldn't walk through the front door with them.
see, those are good stories.
About drinking moonshine with Phil Typin.
Right, that too. We had a big pile of handled Captain Morgan's bottles, like 10 of them stacked up down there. I remember that's been a long time ago though.
Yeah, it might have been more than 10. I know it was a lot. It was kind of.
It was. I haven't been to Gordyville in 10 or longer, but yeah, or Shipshewana. It's always the weekend of the fair convention in Wisconsin.
Right.
Yeah, I made the mistake of going to Gordyville and then coming to work with Greg for a couple days, a couple times. That's hard on the liver.
Yeah, you can't do that. I'm getting too old for that. I used to do it. I can't do it anymore.
So, Jason, I want to tell you this. Last year, you came to Pecatonica. I call it my poll, and I really appreciate that. And you gave out the books for the kids. That was awesome.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I was hoping you would be there this year, but you probably had another event somewhere.
Yeah, no, I ran Outlaw Points this past season. They sponsored me, and that was a big commitment. But I'm going to be a free agent again next summer. I'm still going to work with the Outlaws, but that's too far from home every week for me. And I miss going to some local polls at home. So we had a good time at Pecatonica last year. I almost said Pecatonica. So it's all good. It's all good.
So if I happen to go 4-1, maybe I'll get a chance to beat you.
You'll have a very good chance to beat me, especially if I drive it because I pay for it, and you have a better chance of beating me on the seat than you do any. But I did get better this year, Scott. I do promise you that. No, you and Nick would be welcome to the 401 class. I love the 401 class. I want to go pull with Elsine someday. I'm scared. I'm just scared, and so I'm just going to be a happy 401 puller for a while. So,
well, I think I've done enough pulling in the pro farm. There's kind of a technique in driving it and riding your clutch, and so I guess going super farm or going limited pro, it'll be a learning curve.
Yeah. Oh, it will be. There's a little more horsepower there at the throttle, Scott. So, but you'll figure it out. It's a natural progression, honestly, Scott, for you guys at the 640 that you're at already to go super farm or go 401. And I know you got stout motors as it is. And, don't you guys already have one kind of in the camp with Ray? Did Nick help with Ray's tractor, Ray Hearings, I think?
Yeah, Nick helped with Ray's, and he helped with Jerry Mason's, helped Kevin Inkelkins, and I have the most respect for my nephew because he's very particular, and whatever he does, it's going to be done right.
Yeah, you start throwing names around like that. I think you should go super farm for 5 to 10 years, kind of like when Uncle Buck quit smoking. Remember, John? He went 5 years of cigars and 5 years of chewing tobacco. So, no, Scotty, you're going to be tough competition no matter what class you pull in. There are guys like you that just know how to drive and have good equipment. And Elsine and Stranley and everybody watching know what I'm talking about when I say that. So we'd love to have you in the 401 class. It'd be a blast.
Well, I appreciate that.
It'd be a blast. And you will be tough. And you said it earlier in there, and everywhere I go, and I travel kind of all over now pulling, Badger State has a reputation of the Badger State tractors are mean. The Badger State trucks are mean. Whenever the Badger State tractors go out and pull at a national scene like a Gordyville, a Midwest Winter Nationals, a Louisville, something like that, you see them at the top. And there's a reason for that. Week in and week out, you're pulling against some of the best in the country. So when you do venture out and maybe pull against some new people, there's nothing to be afraid of, Scotty. Nothing at all. So.
No, I not for sure what we're going to do yet, but got some ideas. And like I said, I'm kind of sad that our class, I tried getting people to come around and people say they are and they don't, and then I'm on the phone trying to get people there to make sure we got numbers. And I don't know, it's kind of sad to me, but I guess it's time maybe to do something different.
Right. Scott, you've been on the board of directors for Badger State for quite a few different times here and there, right?
Yep.
Still are right now. He's a director, so he knows what it's like to get people rounded up and get them to the events. It's not easy some days.
Right.
You know, you talk to people, they say, yeah, we'll be there, and then they don't show up.
Well, the last 2 years have been really difficult, guys, coming out of COVID and then getting parts. And I think people are still I think this year was better than last year. We're starting to get back to normal, if you will.
Yep.
And I think Greg and John can talk about that as well. But we saw some lower numbers in some of the classes throughout the year. And honestly, Scott, your class is a class that really, where else can you go pull Pro Farm now with your set of rules? It's just you and ITPA, right? Or are there other pockets in the country that you can do that?
Well, there was ISP, which basically was the Badger State rules.
Okay, it was ISP.
Okay,
Sorry.
down there. The problem, and actually I think me and Bill Smith talked about this. The problem was back in the day, everybody wanted to kind of have their own little set of rules instead of everybody getting together and having the same rules to bring in more tractors. Everybody had a little bit of their own rules, and it just didn't work.
Yeah, and at the cube and the cubes that you guys are at, there's so many other options because you're not that far away from a super farm. I don't know what you would need to do to your bottom end to go 4-1, Scott, and we're not going to get into that tonight. But my point is, you're already there with cubic inch. I'm sure you got the stout rear end with the torque numbers that you guys are making in that Pro Farm class. It's not going to be as big of no matter what class you pull in, you're going to spend money in it, Scotty. You know that. So
Right.
Yep. I know we recapped early on. How many point championships did you have with Badger State? Did we count them up, or because I know you were rattling through them?
I think it was 03, 05. It was weird because it was every other year. 03, 05, 07, 09, and then I won 10, and then I won another one, and then this year I think. I'm not for sure.
Gotcha.
7, good number. Pullers Incorporated has 640 rules. They do. That's right. PI does.
Vicky and Dave have pulled with Badger State some this year, didn't they? With their case, I feel like they did.
Who's that?
Vicky and Dave Schultz. Don't they have a case?
Yeah. We pulled with them some. They were at Monroe. Actually, I went to a PI pull, and it was earlier in the year. I can't remember where it was, but he was there too. So the PI got more guys that follow. If we could get more of the PI guys to come back with Badger State, we could probably keep it alive. But a lot of times, PI guys got pulls the same night as Badger State, so that's always a conflict.
Yep. Mike Steffen says the cost has also went up just to get tractor to the pulls. Absolutely. And getting more horsepower costs dollars. Part storage doesn't help. Hopefully get some of that resolved during the off season. Yeah. Hopefully the builders can get bought, put some inventory back on the shelves and start making some stuff again. I know a lot of them are just waiting for raw materials so they can make stuff. So a lot of the builders I've talked to. So
Yep.
So how'd you do this year, Jason?
I blew my tractor up at Wisner, Nebraska. So it was running good. I was 4th in the points. Till that point, I was 1 point out of 3rd, 4 out of 2nd. I was about 20 points out of 1st, and it was we were doing good. I got my pro pullers, those hole shots figured out about halfway through the year, and Tony was teaching me to drive it a little better and watching computers, and we were having a lot of fun with it. But I got 32 passes on it this year before the pump stuck, and she went kabang. So
That's a lot of passes.
Yep. Tony didn't want me to go more than 25, and I told him that I had 6 more outlaw hooks to go. And it wasn't the normal guys where we hear the plunger sticking down the track at all. It was a good hook. And at the end, I pulled back on the throttle, and I'll just share the video because I'm that guy. I'm not afraid. And everybody picked on me about, you guys, I don't know if you guys, I'm sure all of you have had something stick, or Greg or Scott or John over the years, but it happened so damn fast, you guys. I didn't know what to do. I mean, I went for the fuel shut off, and then by the time I realized I went for the wrong thing, I went for the 3-way dump, and it was too late. The turbo blew, and it was over. So
That's horrible.
But it was a good hook. I had first hook in the class. I was feeling good about life. And here, I'll pull the video up here right now.
That, my friend, is what you call a runaway.
So that was a shitty night, fellas. That's all I'm gonna say. So
We've all had.
yeah, no, I know, and I don't know, Greg. You know, you pull the throttle back, and you know, I counted it. It was 3.5 seconds is what I had. And I went for the fuel on my left, and then as I was reaching for the three-way dump, it banged and whatever. I mean, I don't know. It's mechanical failure. You know, bad things happen. So, so everybody was okay. Nobody got hurt. No, all the pieces stayed inside the tractor. Some stuff, you know, obviously fell out the bottom, but nobody was hurt, and that's what it's all about. So,
Right.
yep.
I mean, got hurt.
Yep. Mike Whitmer says, I've known Scott for a lot of years. One of the greatest guys you can ever know. I've actually had the privilege to polish on the Get Her Done tractor. It was a huge honor to have that privilege. So, Mike, you know Mike Whitner, Scott, or is that just some random guy making up things about you?
No, he's a great guy, a great polisher, and I feel the same about him.
Nice. Yeah, they always say they run great before blowing up. Yep, well, it was running good. That's just how it goes. That's just how it goes.
How many people usually watch this? I guess I'm not a big.
So we have 175 people watching live right now. Last week's show reached 15,000 people on Facebook in 24 hours.
Wow.
A lot of people are watching this. You know, it's kind of the off season now, and a lot of people are doing this. And we've been consistently doing Let's Grow Polling now for 2015 for 7 years on Monday nights at 8 o'clock. And I talked to John and Greg and I've been talking about this for a couple of years, and we finally just said, screw it, we're going to do it. And we wrangled Stranley in. We pay him with Busch Light. That's his right, Elsing, is that what we agreed to? So
Half a can a week.
but it's a commitment. It's a commitment. Yeah, it's a commitment to jump on here every Monday night, but it's really good for the sport. We get a highlight. Scott, a lot of people have never seen your face before. You know, they just see the Get Her Done tractor and they see a big tall guy in a helmet, and they never get to know you and learn about your family and your pulling. And, you know, I had no idea that your dad pulled a farm stalker back in the day. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's all good.
I got to thank my kids and my late wife I lost 3 years ago. She was always a supporter, and my kids are supporters and still are supporters. And I got a question for you though, Jason. Did you know that I was in a music video with my tractor?
Yes, and I watched it before. What's the name of it again?
The band was the Arctic Monkeys.
Okay.
And the name of the song was One for the Road.
Okay, so I need you to, I remember this. I'm going to pull this video up. I got it up already. I'm going to mute the music because I'll get kicked off of Facebook and YouTube because of all the copyright crap. But can you tell us how all this came together?
Actually, a guy got a hold of Mark Kohlberg, and he wanted a tractor for this music video. And these guys were, I don't know how it all actually came to, but it was a group from the UK, I think they were.
What was this art? What was the song again?
It's called One for the Road by the Arctic Monkeys.
There it is.
There it is.
Not a bad song. I mean, it had a nice little jingle to it, if I remember. I don't want to play it because, like I said 3 or 4 times already, the copyrights. We get whacked. I'm so sick of fighting all that. But I put the link there in the comments. Or that's so cool, Scott.
Yeah, that was definitely that's probably one of the bigger memories of pulling tractors. Just it was something different that we got to experience that a lot of people didn't, whether it's right or wrong or whatever. It was. I wish I would have done a penny a hit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 49. It's got 49,674,000 views. They debuted it in October 24th of 2013. So
it was 49 million.
yep, that's what it's at right now. So it's still climbing. After tonight's show, it's probably going to go to 100 million because we're that cool, Scooter. So
Well, you know, if I would have done that penny a hit, I might be able to afford a limited pro that might maybe keep up with you.
no, if you would have got a penny a hit, you were going to go smack Elsie on the backside and said, "Bye-bye, Felicia." That's what you were going to do. So pro stock, baby. Pro stock.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. Did you ever have any sponsors reach out or anything like that about that because of that, Scott?
No.
Yeah, I suppose they took the side shields off. That stinks. So.
Yeah. Yeah, that was one thing we had to do. That was like the first thing. You had to take the side shields off. So.
Yep. Chad Sieverding says, "I always thought you were a celebrity, Scott." So.
Yeah, I bet.
And then little Morgan Schulte says, "I've already seen this video a bunch of times." So maybe maybe he's part of the 49 million, Scott.
I don't know what honestly, I've always wondered what that's got to do with tractor pulling, but I do like the beat of the song. I think the song is a neat song.
Yeah. Like I said, people, you guys can, I put the link in the comments. You can go listen to it after the show or listen to it now if you whatever. So Scott, if you could steal, Ryan Rusink asks this question every Monday night on our Let's Grow Pulling show. If you could steal the keys to any pulling tractor in the world, truck, tractor, whatever, in the past or today, you didn't have to worry about breaking it. Whose would you take and where would you take it pulling? Just like, so if you break it, nothing bad's going to happen. This is like a genie walks up, smacks you on the head and says, "I'll grant you one wish." You can drive anybody's pulling vehicle anywhere. It doesn't have to be a present. It could be something from your past. What would you do?
Okay, say that again because you were kind of breaking up.
Yeah, I talk fast. If I was a genie, Greg Elsing came up and said, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, Scott Burkhart, you can drive anybody's pulling tractor in the world and you can take it anywhere and you don't have to worry if you break it. Whose would you take and where would you go pull it?"
Oh boy. That's a tough one because I like Greg's because it's different. I mean, Greg's runs good. It'd be probably a pro stock. I don't know if I ever get to pull a pro stock. I'm a red guy at heart, so I mean, there's just I don't know. I'm an old school guy. I like old sheet metal. I like 60/30s. I guess I don't know if I actually. That'd be a tough call for me because I'd have to really think about, you know, which one I'd want to run. I don't know. Where would I want to run it? Probably Louisville. Never been to Louisville. That might be another goal of mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I know some of the guys from out in Dubuque, which you probably know who I'm talking about. I know they run pretty strong now, John Deere's. But like I said, Greg's got a great looking and running tractor, and there's some red guys out there that run really well too. So I don't know actually if I had that chance whose I would pull.
But it's a red pro stock is what you're saying?
Yep.
Okay.
Talk to Blaine. He'll let you jump in the seat. Blaine Stam.
What's that?
Talk to Blaine Stam, jump in his seat.
Oh, Blaine?
Yeah.
You think Blaine will let me run it?
Well, give him enough beers in it, maybe.
Yeah, I don't think he'd do that. He'd probably look at me and laugh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
But Blaine's got a beautiful tractor, and it runs really, really strong too. I mean, that would be one on the list too.
Oh,
Yep.
For sure.
Yep.
Brinkmeyer's, I've always been, you know, I've known them pulling for years and years, and I respect them very much too.
They've got so many people driving that one. You should just put your name in the list there in between. They might not even notice, right? Oh, it's Scott's turn.
Yeah, that's crazy between Gary and the boys, and then the grandkids. Yeah, that's kind of a crazy thing.
Yeah, and it runs good no matter who's driving it.
Right. They all seem to do good, make good passes.
Yep.
Greg, so I'm live on TikTok too. Somebody's asking me to ask you that question that I just asked Scotty.
Ask me?
Yeah, answer that question. Who would you take? Doesn't have to be a pro, any class. Stanley, you're next. So.
I think it might be one of Blackburn's V8s, alcohol tractor. Try it. I've done the pro stock thing now, which is my favorite thing, but to do something different would probably be alcohol tractor from Blackburn's.
Yep.
Yeah,
Stanley?
I never even thought of that, Greg, but yeah, that would probably be, yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Troy Ruchoff said Scott would look good in the Cruisin' Mule in Louisville.
Yeah.
Right?
I have to raise that cage up a little bit, though.
In the Cruisin' Mule?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a little taller than Bill, Scotty. So.
Right. That was always one of my favorite looking tractors, though. I always loved the Cruisin' Mule 1466. That was always one watching growing up, and it always ran strong.
Yes, it did.
That's the first one I seen that. When I seen that one run and Brinkmeyer's and them guys, I'm going to have a pro stock someday. When I seen them guys.
So how do I do this, Greg? Where did you find the pot of gold to go to the pro stock?
I don't know. I'm still paying. Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. No, corn at $7. There's a good deal. Helps a little bit.
Yeah, I think we're pretty fortunate this year the way things are looking.
Right. Yep. Yeah. But there's always next year you got to save some for.
Right. Well, John, let's ask Scott one more question, then we got to let him go, and I got to wrap this up so I can get ready for my next one. Stranley?
I'm just enjoying the show. I asked earlier, but I don't know. Who in your family? Why don't you introduce who your family is? And I know you got some grandkids too, don't you?
Yeah, I have a granddaughter that's 3, and she's the love of my life right now, and she's awesome.
Perfect.
Yeah.
How many kids you got?
What's that?
How many children do you have?
I have 2 children. I have a son that's actually his last semester at Platteville, and then my daughter's 25. And yeah, you never know. Maybe they'll be on him someday.
Yeah.
Did you? Your son played in the state championship basketball game a few years ago too, didn't he?
Yep, he. That was probably honestly one of the highlights of my life. I coached their team from 2nd grade to 8th grade, seeing them grow and improve, and I'll never forget the first night I coached them. I told the boys, this is 2nd grade. I said, you guys need to have goals. And I said, I think one of your goals should be to play in the state championship. And they progressed, and they were a really good team. They got beat by a team out of Chicago that had 3 Division I players. But I'll never forget the one kid on the team that come up to me after the game and he said, I'll never forget you saying that. And that kind of hit the home.
That's awesome.
It's good when they listen like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Scott, did he play basketball at EWP?
No, he just went for school. He was a little thinner. He was 6'6", very fast. I mean, he had the skills, but he didn't have the bulk. We went up there and watched the game, and even though they're Division III, they have some big boys, strong boys, and he didn't think, it would really work for him. So I respected that, and he's done really well at school, so that's good.
Good deal. Good deal. Well, Scott, thank you for your time tonight. I'm glad we got some good internet figured out for you. Thank Morgan for doing that, and we'll see you at the banquet in about a month and a half.
Yep. And thanks a lot, Greg, John, you, Jason. You all do great at what you do, and I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Scott. Congrats on your points championship. Have a good night.
Yep. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, Scott.
Yep.
Scott.
Good. Oops, sorry, John. I removed him too soon there for you. So good interview. I want to get into the history of our guys, our families, how they got started pulling and stuff like that. So good stuff.
Yeah, stuff behind it that not everybody gets to see, and they see the tractor and the helmet, and you don't get to see the face or know about it. It's good meat and potatoes of all the pullers.
Scotty's a good guy, tough competitor. Everybody has to respect him in that class, and Whether he goes Super Farmer 4-1, I'm sure he'll go 4-1. He's already, I mean, he's got to be chuckling if Nick and Ray and those guys are doing that already. The 4-1's a blast. It's a good time. But who knows? I mean, it's up to him, obviously, to do whatever he wants to do. But he's going to be tough wherever he goes. So it's a natural progression. Greg, you've seen it over the years.
Yep.
And guys, there's so many, big cube classes anymore.
Yep.
It just makes sense for him to take that next leap, if you will. So it's all good.
There isn't a class in our club that's a cake.
No,
No.
not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
No.
So John, what's going on in your life right now, buddy?
Just busy at work and busy taking care of the family and about all. That's enough. It's compiled. So I'm Mr. Mom, Mr. Nerd. All of it.
Yeah. I really appreciate you guys coming on every Monday night and doing this. I think this is our third or fourth show. And it's been fun. I've heard some good feedback from the Badger State pullers, the Badger State fans, and different things like that. So it's been fun. Thank you for doing that. Greg, I know you're a big farmer, custom harvester as well. Where are you guys at? How are crops looking? What's the overall feeling at the Elsing Ranch?
Crops are good. Doing beans right now with one comment. We're still chopping corn silage. Hopefully have one or two more days of that left. And they were actually saying today, I heard them on the radio, there's the greenest stuff we chopped all fall. There was stuff planted late, but we're getting done. And we've got all the corn left to shell and beans and, getting stuff. We got a couple 100,000 bushel shelled already. But
Wow.
Long ways to go.
What are the markets doing right now? Are they hanging in there for you guys, or?
Today was a good day. At one point, it was up 20 cents today. I had some seed corn stuff that hit $7. The board must have made it to $7. So,
Okay.
So it was always, that's good. Good. That's a thing to pay attention to more than anything.
Yep.
Marketing. Yep.
Agreed.
Yep.
Agreed. Well, guys, go ahead, John.
Fall goes good. When do you think you'll be wrapped up?
We're hoping to be done by the banquet. That's always our goal. Get done by the banquet. And for everybody's information, everything is up on the website now for the banquet. Room reservations and meals and everything is up there. That went out this afternoon. So, and just like we say, everybody's welcome. All you have to do is sign up and come along.
Yeah, that's great. Great event, and glad to see everybody there.
Yep.
I like it. Well, guys, I got to boogie and go get set up for Let's Grow Polling. Keep bringing on awesome guests every Monday night, and we'll just keep having fun and promoting the Badger State Tractor Pullers. So.
Yep. I think once we're done with all the points champions, we can start doing go to people's shops and do a show. I was thinking we go right down to Dennis Fry's shop maybe here in a little bit and walk through that, and other people's like that too, and actually pullers shops too.
No, I think that'd be good. Just show some real behind the scenes. I think that'd be a blast. So,
Yep.
Just got to have good internet, and thank God Scotty was able to go up to his neighbors so we could hear him and listen to him, because that's the most frustrating thing in the world when they can't hear you or you can't hear them. So.
Yep.
All right, guys, I'm going to play our promo video to end it, and I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Yep. Thanks. Bye.